Hey, everybody, I want to thank you for joining us here Out of Pocket with Bad Boys. We got Ric Jones, Koby Pilgrim, and the world famous Mike D. We are talking about Nineball tonight, among many other things, including the bags I like to pack my poo cue in, apparently. Nineball is the topic tonight. Rick, what do you want to start out with? Talk about Nineball, my friend.
Well, let's hit some basic facts. Pool was roughly created in the 1600s. And then what we know as pool, the way we know it now, was early 1800s. But nine ball was created somewhere in the 1920s. And I think everybody should jump on that a little bit because technically we are like the 100-year anniversary, right?
Right.
See some good
I'll buy
promo
that.
there, Matchroom. Think about that, Matchroom. So with
Yeah,
nine
I
ball,
agree.
kind of topics that I wanted to touch was all the shit that's going on with nine ball right now. I don't know if anybody's seen the calendar that Shane Van Boning posted for 2023,
No, I have
but
not.
there's 14 major events on there. That's all nine ball.
Really?
9 of those are in the US. Matchroom is doing a ton of stuff. You got Turning Stone, Derby City, International Open, the US Open. You got the Moscone Cup, and then a bunch of other, like I think they got the Asian Open, the Philippine Open.
I'll put it up.
There's you got
Wow.
it, Kobe.
I'll put it up over the editing.
Yeah, it's a pretty extensive list.
And Rick, what are the races like on those? Do you know? I mean, is there any way to tell?
I think the I want to say the race to 9 is the smallest race.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
a great
interesting
answer.
because we're going to get into the race of tournaments and how the stuff goes and all that shit. But yeah, I mean, Matchroom's got a ton of nine ball events going. It's funny because for us people, regular people, nine ball officially started in the 1920s, and it's basically from the very beginning has always been known as the money game.
It's the fast game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, that's if you think about it, me personally, I don't like nine ball. I mean, I like watching the Moscone Cup and I like watching pros play pool because they're that good. But the actual game, I really don't care for that much. But I'm not really into rotation anyway. I mean, my game is one pocket, then 8 ball, and then probably 10 ball before the other ones. And I like straight pool. But yeah, 9 ball, dude. That's a pretty popular game.
I agree with you in a lot of ways. Anyone who likes to gamble knows that just having a quick game counts for a lot. You know what I mean? Having a money ball that it can end early, so it's exciting, counts for a lot. Nine ball definitely lends itself towards being a money game. It's also great for ring games. But it in the same hand, it has, or I guess the flip side of the coin, it definitely has its limitations. It's not all it's cracked up to be always. It's not the best way to see who the best player in the room is,
Well, and the funny thing is, right? So with 9 ball, I always thought 9 ball was a sucker's bet, right? Like, so for a good pool hustler like my day, I'm 56 now. So in my day, the 80s and 90s, it seemed like a guy could go into a bar and he could get $5 games, 9 ball, and you could play a 9 ball game in 4 minutes. Right. So, you could get guys that would play less money, but you could run through a shit ton of them really quick and you could accumulate some money pretty fast in a night. And that's what I assumed people really like the gamblers like 9 ball. And that's, kind of makes sense to, it's the money game.
Right.
But
I would say it also, I mean, as somebody who grew up gambling from 15 years old and mainly started with 8 ball and then switched to 9 ball, there were also subtle differences that you could use if you were a better player. The hooks are so powerful in 9 ball. And I'm talking especially with lower level players, where, you get to a certain level, you're really not riding the 9, and some things don't really matter. But boy, in the
Right.
lower levels, being the player who knows how to play a safe versus a player who doesn't know how to play a safe, it'll win you the game in 9-ball every time.
Right.
And you can beat a guy a lot of times before he really figures out, oh man, you keep just playing safe on me, you know.
Right. Right.
You
And it's all about the
bastard.
timing in the game of when you
I
play
was
the
just
safe.
gonna say that. Yes, the ebb and
Yeah.
flow of 9-ball is the whole thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially again for the lower levels. I remember as a lower level player knowing neither one of us is going to run out this rack. I'd rather you shoot the 3 and the 4 ball, and I'll shoot the 8 and the 9 ball, man. So go ahead and
Right.
break your neck making the 2 ball, man. I don't care.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to talk about 9-ball to start off with as your lower skill levels, right? I think a lot
Right.
more of your APA players like playing the 9-ball because, well, first of all, I don't think
Yeah. That's
not
not
bashing the APA because I think the APA does a really great thing and they bring in a ton of players. But for
Right.
me, when an APA player says they play 9-ball, it drives me insane because to me, what they're playing is short rack rotation.
That's exactly what they're playing.
Right. And it's kind of a good thing because at the lower level, you're just learning to make balls and try to get shape for the next ball in order.
Right.
Right. So, and if you lose, if the other guy makes a 9, it doesn't really mean anything in the APA format at the lower level, right?
Right.
Because I got to make 50 balls, you got to make 12 or whatever it is. So it's an interesting game when you look at it that way.
Right. Now I'm playing a BCA 8 ball right now, and we're doing a similar thing where you can get up to 7 points as the loser
Yeah.
and 10 points as the winner. And
Right.
Rick, it drives me crazy because I think it promotes the wrong thing. I don't care how many balls I have on the table or how many you have on the table. I'm doing strategic trying to win. What an awful way to decide how our game went, yeah, it drives
Well,
me batty.
for a player your level, I mean, and the VNEA did I think it was for league night, it was 150 count, right?
Okay.
Or for the tournament, it was at least 150 count, and it was the
Right.
same thing. You get 10 points for the win, and the loser could make all the way up to 7. And then they had a handicap with that. But it don't take much to sit down if you love math, is to sit down and do the math on that. And when league starts, your handicaps start fresh, right? And I'd look and go, okay, I knew every player in the league. So it's like, all right, when we play the best teams at the beginning, let's eke it out with them. And then with the weak teams, we'll do the same thing. And then we'll kick it into gear halfway through the season and just torture them. Because when you get into numbers like that, it's so easy to manipulate what you're doing. Right. If you're that much better than everybody else. But yeah, 9-ball, it's funny to me. I mean, the reason I wanted to talk about 9-ball tonight was because it dawns on me that everybody's trying this crazy shit. Like at the Moscone Cup, we went to 4-inch pockets and the 9 is on the spot now. And it's like, for the last 10, 15 years, they've been screwing with how they rack the balls.
And cue ball in the break box, we might as well throw that out there, right?
Right. And to me, it doesn't jive with the history of 9-ball.
I agree completely.
Right. So when it comes to 9-ball, what is the problem from your perspective or what you've heard? Why do they want to keep messing with this rack?
I guess that would be my frustration, is because I believe it all started when everyone started talking about 9-ball's for monkeys, that anybody can run out playing 9-ball, which I think is funny because, go ahead, do that then. Let's see that. It ain't as easy. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, what? And yeah, I believe that's when it started, is that people began to think we've got to make 9-ball more difficult. I also think it became when 10-ball started getting popular, people tried to change 9-ball We for a while people were playing 9-ball where the 9 couldn't get locked in, it couldn't get slopped in tournaments. All sorts of crap was coming up because of 10-ball, where I kept thinking, let's just play 10-ball then.
Yeah.
The one that kills me. You want to say something, Kobe? I know we're just rambling.
I was just agreeing with Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that kills me when all that started is the people that go, well, the 9 don't count in the bottom 2 corners. Well, what the hell? Okay, then why would it count in the other one? Well, because it gets kicked in. It doesn't, they didn't cheat the rack and it didn't go straight in. I said, okay, so then what if it gets kicked into the bottom 2 corners? Well, no, it still don't count. Well, what if it goes straight into a side pocket then? Well, that counts. Okay, but you said, okay, your shit don't make no sense, people.
Right.
Either it gets locked in or it doesn't get locked in.
Right.
Either they racked it tight or they don't rack it tight. Either don't count it or count it. Saying it doesn't count in 2 pockets don't make no sense to me. Either don't count in any pocket or it counts in all the pockets.
It also leads me to my other frustration, which is why in God's name are we not using the magic rack? If you believe, and I believe, you can leave the bottom two balls a little loose and make the 9-ball more often, and it's rack your own somehow, or you're just not that great of a racker. Why are we not all using the template rack? I mean, what's the, because it's the same people that won't want to use the template rack as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Yeah, no, because that made the game too easy because they always make the wing.
Right.
Or they're putting a crease in it.
Right, yeah. So when I look back at stuff, what I notice is, everybody started going, well, Corey Deuel broke the game because he started soft breaking. Okay, but what did that do for Corey Deuel? Can somebody tell me when he did that? Wasn't it like 2007?
That was early
2000.
No, I think it was before that. Was
close to 20 years ago.
It was before that, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I don't think it was that. I think it was
like 2006 that he won the U.S. Open.
He won the U.S. Open in 2001.
Was it one? I mean, I remember watching them.
Soft break was the issue back then. Honestly, I mean, I think
it was a little bit earlier. It was like 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there. When Corey was doing that. Yeah, but I'm saying the whole soft break thing. I think that was around.
It was
earlier,
after that. I think it was
like 3, 4, 5, 2003, 4, 5, because that was about the time when I really started watching them. And Corey Deuel used to be one of my favorite players. So,
but the point is I remember all the huff and puffing about it, right? But he's only got the U.S. Open one in 2001, and I honestly I don't believe, and let's just say it was. Screw it. Let's give it to him. It was because he was soft breaking. They didn't really outlaw that until 2007.
Yeah.
Or 8, when the BCA said, "Hey, let's quit allowing soft breaks," right? But the world standardized rules never did that. It's always you had to have at least 4 balls go to a rail or 1 in a pocket. But I don't see any domination from that move. Is the point I'm getting at, right? I don't see Corey dominating the pool world anywhere with that soft break.
I would say I agree with you. I would also say it's similar to when people started kick safing. It was a next level in the game that had to come up. The break is way more controllable than people wanted to admit. And Corey Deuel was the first guy to come along and go, hey, controlling that 1 ball is pretty important when you break the 9-ball. Have you noticed that? Before that, we were all color of money. Tom Cruise wanted to be sons of guns.
Yeah,
we want to break our shaft and slam the rack, and Corey says, hey, maybe we'll know where the 1 ball is after the break.
Yeah.
It just, it reminds me a little bit of what my dad talks about bowling, that there was a time when people didn't do the hook with bowling. And then as the hook came into being, bowling scores got astronomically better. It wasn't because somebody did the trick. It's because everybody figured out a better way to do it. Yeah, the break is just a natural development. People realized that it wasn't this random thing that we all thought it was. In the same way that
then,
a kick safety was possible when before we thought, God, I just want to hit it, you know?
Yeah. And back then they did it with one damn hand and they used their thumb. It wasn't a two-handed.
Oh no, back
I
then,
hate
dude,
watching
you had the
bowling
natural
now.
curve.
Oh my God.
Dude, I used to throw. Earl Anthony was my favorite bowler, and he did it left-handed. But you keep your wrist and your hand straight.
Yeah.
Right along like it was in your pocket.
Yeah.
And you kept it straight. And the way the ball was weighted, right? And you just, as long as you followed through, the spin would be automatic with your follow through, right?
Right.
That's the way you did it, was consistent with it.
If your ball was set up correctly.
Synthetic lanes and shit, they just it's crazy now.
Yeah.
I don't whatever.
So
you know what I'm saying though. I don't want to get off on bowling, but I'm just, that's something my dad's always talked about bowling wise that I think does is, you can be mad at jump cues, you can be mad at what it is what it is,
Yeah. The game evolves, but I don't understand why we keep jacking around with something that I don't think was broke to start with.
I completely agree. I
can't find any evidence.
Right. I agree completely.
So who's the best breaker in the world before Shane Van Boening? Who is the best hard 9-ball breaker?
I don't know.
Hard 9-ball breaker, I don't really know.
Bustamante.
He was
one of them. There's a lot of big guns out there, man. Hitting a 9-ball rack hard.
Yeah.
I
I don't ever sit down and keep stats like that.
But I mean, there was talk about, this guy is the best breaker. And I would love for people, please, if you watch this, go in and tell us who you think, before you watch anymore, just go in and type in who you thought the hardest breaker was in the 70s, hardest breaker in the 80s.
I know Charlie, as far as hardest breaker,
the point I'm gonna get to,
Charlie Bryant's always had a pretty good reputation of being a hard breaker.
Sure, but no wins in the U.S. Open 9-ball.
Probably.
Mike Deshane's
I don't think he's won.
Break.
I don't think he's won Derby City either. I should have went back and looked at all that. But when you look back at, and I'm just using the U.S. Open 9-ball because it's got so much history. Shane Van Boening has 5 wins. Earl Strickland has 5 wins. Mike Siegel has 3 wins. Mika Immonen has 2. Darren Appleton has 2. Nobody else has more than that. Other than Shane and maybe Mike Siegel hit him pretty hard, but none of those guys ran the set either.
Right.
And at Derby City, up until about 4 years ago, it was only a race to 7 because they wanted to get the the tournament going. And Greg Sullivan said, here's the rules he put, because it's win or break at Derby. If you run the set, I will give $2,000. I think he said $2,000 to the first guy that will run the set. But here's the rule that's in writing: if you do run the set, your opponent gets an opportunity to break and run the set too and match it. Right?
I've heard that.
Somebody doesn't get a set ran on them and has no shot. It's never happened. At Derby City, it's never happened.
Right.
Now we have the famous story of Earl Strickland doing the 10 break and runs 9-ball and he got supposedly $1 million. Debatable whether he got it or not. But that's it, dude. I've never heard a story of anybody breaking and running more in tournament play, in real life, right? So why are we jacking around with the rack and where it's broke from?
I think that needs to happen this year. We need to put this out there. Do people know about the bounty? I've never heard of it.
I'll double check with Greg Sullivan, but I'm pretty sure he put $2,000 for the first person to run the set. I think he did the same thing for the first person that did 200 straight running on a diamond table at the Derby City when they were doing the straight pull too, I think.
Wow.
Greg likes to do that kind of stuff. But yet again, here we are. Every year it seems like they're jacking around with where you break from and what the rack is. I went back and I watched
with all these tournaments.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and you can look at the Moscone Cup and watch every year, which is pretty cool. Now, I went back and I looked at, I just randomly, because I didn't want to put that much time in it because I don't have enough Patreons paying me enough to do the homework. But I looked at 2000 and I picked like 5 matches. I looked at 2002, 2004. I think I looked at like 6 or 7 years of the Moscone Cup. Nobody ran out all their games in any of the matches I watched. Now, I'm sure they probably have because it's only a race to 5 and it's alternating break. Right. But for somebody to get up and break and run every time they got to the table, I didn't see it anywhere. And I've watched all the Moscone Cups the last 4 or 5 years. I don't remember seeing anybody do it. I think Filler got close once. Maybe he did once. I just don't remember, but it got close.
I've seen him get, 3 of 3, maybe the first 6 racks, but haven't seen the complete set yet.
Right. So for me, it's just like, I don't understand why I want somebody to watch this and then tell me why we're jacking around with this stuff.
I played a guy race 8 for $200, Matt Horner. Winter breaks magic rack on a 9-foot diamond. He broke and ran the whole set on me. It was awesome. You don't see that very often. That was such a rare thing to happen in a gambling situation to step up and do it. I bet that's the best he's ever done in that situation. Why come up rules that stop somebody from doing that?
Right.
If you can do it, more power to you. That's amazing. What's that?
How long ago was that?
Was it on a 9-footer?
6 or 7 years ago on a 9-foot diamond.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I broke and ran 7 racks of Nineball.
Yeah, Matt Horner plays real good. He's in the 700s.
I had to be on
it. Yeah, he'd have broken ran 8 if the alarm clock hadn't gone off.
No.
Damn alarm clock gets you every time.
Yeah, I played that set. I didn't do anything except rack him. I racked the magic rack for him every time. I didn't talk. I just sat down while he was shooting. Yeah, he ran the whole set on me.
Dang.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. Rick, what do you know about the 9-ball rules back in the day where you pushed out instead of ball in hand?
Oh, look, catching me off guard.
Is that what
it used to be?
Is that what they used to call it?
Because I played it that way. No, it's not ball in hand. You call push out, and then either your opponent can shoot it, or they can give it back to you. And if you miss the shot, then they get to shoot. Right?
Is that what they used to call 2 foul?
Something about 3 times. I think you could do it 3 times, and then after that, maybe they got ball in hand. But there was definitely something, because Koby, that used to be part of the 9-ball strategy. The really good old school 9-ball players also knew where to push out to.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a big part of the strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny to me.
Similar, I would say, to the rules of 8-ball, where you used to spot everything that went down during a foul. You need to have the line of balls in the middle of the table that had been spotted. That's something with the advent of bar tables that they got rid of, because it cost you money to spot up a table.
I remember. Yeah, I was just about to bring that up because I remember watching an old video. And it might have been Moscone playing that. It was okay. We're gonna break. All balls made on the break come up, and it was the 2 foul thing where you could push out at any time.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I first in 1985 playing 8-ball, we did not play ball in hand. 8-ball. We could get into trouble. I had people get angry at me for playing dirty pool, which just meant strategic pool. But you got to remember, there were also no rules about hit a ball, hit a rail, so you could say, hey, that was the honorable dirty pool way to do it. The rules also made a framework so you could do it with honor. And And I remember when Vegas rules, we called them, came to be for 8-ball, which just meant ball in hand. And then I remember going to Vegas and trying to gamble people, telling them I want to play Vegas rules 8-ball. And we're in Vegas. They don't know what I'm talking about. Now, they knew what ball in hand 8-ball was, but they didn't call it Vegas rules, you know? I think that came from tournaments. Rick might know more about that, but when tournaments in Vegas started to have ball in hand 8-ball rules.
Yeah. Around here, it was called Moose Pool because it was only the people that played at the Moose that played any sort of defense. And once league started, if we went anywhere else, shit, here come those damn Moose players playing their dirty pool.
Right, so, exactly, man. Exactly.
But they do that while they're watching a football game playing and they're cheering for the defense. Like, so that sport can have offense and defense, but this one can't. You know, makes zero sense.
Well, also without the framework of defense, it used to be, especially in 8-ball. I know we're talking about 9-ball, but you were forced to do something really stupid. If the guy scratched and your 8-ball was in the kitchen, you had to go 3 rails to try and hit your 8-ball. Right. Meanwhile, he could have a ball somewhere that you couldn't play safe on at all, even though it made no sense for you to go 3 rails to touch your 8-ball, you know? So you'd have to either do something stupid or play something kind of smart, looking like it was an accident, you know, and also in a position of being a dumb strategic player too, which I know for people like me, that drove me crazy, you know? I mean, I just couldn't stomach that.
Yeah.
You know, why would I ever take that shot? If I miss it, you're going to win. Why would I ever try that?
Yeah. I would have got beat up a whole bunch if I'd have been around back then. Or probably shot.
I had people angry at me. I remember an old guy shaking his cue at me and demanding that I give him all the money back because I'd been playing dirty pool all day.
Before I was old enough to get into the bar, you could play at the VFW here. And there's a bunch of old guys, and I'd been practicing with the guy that played a lot of safeties. And so, like, I learned in a defensive environment. And I played defense on a guy and locked him up pretty good. And I thought he was going to pull the old wide earth, smash me in the head with a cue ball. He was so freaking mad.
Yeah.
So,
you got to learn to play it so they don't really know you're doing it on purpose. That's where the hustle is.
I don't give a two shits about that. Like, intentional fouls, I'll look you in the eye and smile about it. It don't bother me one bit.
So, Rick, it sounds like you're also against 9-ball doesn't count when it goes in the back too. Just want to make sure we covered that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be allowed on the break in any pocket, it should be allowed on all pockets. I
agree, because for me,
don't allow it on the break.
What it means I got to pay attention to. You're making a rule that I got to pay attention to all these balls flying around, and I got to know what pocket the 9-ball went in. Next thing I know, we're gonna have an argument about what pocket it went in.
Oh, there's been plenty of arguments.
Yeah. Who needs that? I don't like any rule that leads to arguments, man. You know.
So around here, there's a rule, or it's really common around here, and I've seen it in other places that we're playing 9-ball. The 2's got to go in the back. What's up with that? Where did that start?
Again, I think it's part of it is just people trying to make. There's a perception that 9-ball's gotten too easy, and they're trying to figure out ways to make it harder. And I promise you, I swear to God, every one of these dumbass rules was written by a loser. They had to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I look at it like growing up, baseball was my sport. I was up until I was probably 15. I could probably tell you every Cincinnati Reds. When the Mariners started in 77, that was my team too. Those 2 teams, I could probably tell you everybody's batting average on any given day of the week. I was that deep into it, and I love the numbers and stuff. Point is, in baseball, they've only changed the rules on the pitching mound twice in the history of baseball. Right? Which we've just now explained to everybody at the beginning of the show. 9-ball and pool started in the 1920s. So it's only 100 years old.
Right.
Baseball's several hundred years old. In 1904, in baseball, they said, okay, guys, you can't make the pitcher mound any higher than 15 inches. Right?
Okay.
They didn't change the rule again until 1969 because they felt like the pitchers were just too good, and they wanted the fans want to see home runs and balls hit, right? So they said, okay, we're going to lower the pitcher's mound. I think they lowered it to 10 inches, bringing the pitcher down, which was supposed to make the hitters have a better chance.
Okay.
But in the history of baseball, dude, there's 318 no-hitters and 23 perfect games. And that's over several hundred years, right?
Right.
In pool, Earl ran 10 racks, but you can't show me anybody that's ran the set in the US Open, anybody that's ran the set at Derby City.
Right.
Right? I don't see any record book that says more than 10 straight, or I think Earl was 11 straight racks total. But
yeah,
you know, so we keep changing rules, but there's no evidence that what they're saying they're changing the rules for is even happening.
Yeah, right. In competition, not at home, not on your practice table.
Right. I'm talking tournament play, world titles, US Opens.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know, I don't have the stats from the Turning Stone tournaments or any of that, but I know at Derby nobody's ran the set. And it was race 7 up until about 4 years ago. And we're what? Derby City 24 or 25 happening?
Yeah.
23.
Rick, I remember you had said 24 years ago, I think on Facebook, you said, be careful before you change the rules of any game. I don't care if it's Go Fish or Monopoly or what it is. You don't actually know why those rules were put into place unless you know every nuanced reason as to why that rule was put into place. You should probably slow your horses a little bit on changing the rules. And then with 9-ball, especially when you add to that philosophy, oh my God, play 10-ball then. You know, it just makes no sense to mess with 9-ball.
Okay, so you have 8-ball, you have 7-ball, you have 6-ball, you have 9-ball, you have 10-ball, and they all have different rules, right?
Saratoga, let's throw in there,
You have Saratoga, right? But the point is, and I've told a lot of players, especially amateurs, quit trying to make 9-ball 10-ball. It's not. 9-ball is unique from 10-ball. Why would you want to make them the same?
Yeah.
You know, just if you want to change something, change the game you're playing. Don't change the game that is.
Yeah.
Well, and 10-ball does such a great job of changing it. It makes the break more difficult. It adds a ball to the rack, which is oddly makes it more difficult to run out. It takes away the slop element. It's
but it's a different game.
10-ball.
Right? But it's a different game. For example, on the pro world right now, you have Matchroom doing 9-ball, Predators doing 10-ball. Me personally, I don't care. I think it's great that there's all these pro events out there and there's all this money out there. That's great. And I don't look at Matchroom and go, oh, you screwed up by going 9-ball. And I don't look at Predator and go, you guys fucked up by going 10-ball. Both games are different games for different reasons. 9-ball, I think the reason it's as big as it is, and I think it will stay bigger than 10-ball, is Moscone Cup, Derby City, US Open, International Open, those events, right? But what makes 9-ball the game that it is, and it's always been, is it's the money game, it's the gamble game. But if you screw up in 9-ball, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. Right? You make a mistake, you're going to pay for it. When a game like 10-ball, where you got to call the ball and the pocket, and there's an extra ball on the table, believe it or not, makes a huge difference.
Right.
You're not necessarily going to pay for your mistake as much as you would in 9-ball.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and especially 9-ball where it's winter break. Anytime it's winter break, you screw up in 9-ball, a guy could run that high possibility of him running that one and then breaking and running 2 or 3 racks behind it. Now, I'm not saying they're going to run 10 racks because it's only been done once. But to me, that's 9-ball excitement, right? 10-ball has its other excitement.
Right.
Eight ball. I think 8-ball on a bar table. I would love to see way more pros play 8-ball on a bar table. To me, that's so much more fun to watch. But you know, 9-ball is 9-ball's 9-ball, and I find it very ironic for me because I'm defending a game I don't even like.
Right.
But I love pool, and so everything about pool I try to learn. I try to look at it from all the different perspectives and angles. Like when I got into rules, I got into the rules because I thought other people were manipulating the rules to their favor, because most people don't know the rules. And then I thought, if I understood the rules, not only would I be able to officiate a match better if I knew the intent and understood the rule itself, but then it would also help me understand the game that the rules are written for. So same thing with 9-ball. I don't like to play it, but I think 9-ball is its own thing, and it's different than 10-ball. It's different than 8-ball. I just wish they'd quit screwing with it, because again, I'm gonna say this until somebody proves me wrong. Show me the evidence of why we're doing these things. It seems like constantly they're changing the break rule. It's ironic to me that they go, well, we're going to change the pockets and make them really tough. Okay, well, Tar did that. Everybody, the pockets are too big, they're too big. And then the Diamond sent out a table with 4-inch pockets, and then there was a match, and everybody's like, oh, that was so bad to watch. All the misses, they shouldn't have missed. We want to see racks ran. Okay, which one is it? Do you want to see racks ran? Right? And I think that's what they're doing with the rules too. It's like, oh well, we want to stop this. Okay, but this isn't even happening. You guys you're creating something and changing shit for no reason. Show me the reason.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm not seeing it.
Right. I think of it as like in cars, a Ford Taurus versus a Mustang. Sometimes you need a Ford Taurus and sometimes you need a Mustang, but trying to soup up your Ford Taurus is not the way to go about it. And trying to fit your 3 kids in the back of the Ford Mustang doesn't make sense either.
So do you guys watch?
Pick the one that makes sense for what you're trying to do.
No, Mike, you always need the Mustang, and you plan your life accordingly. If kids don't fit in the back, you don't have them.
You guys watch the Olympics? You guys watch the Olympics?
Yeah.
No? Yeah. So what do you like about the Olympics? Isn't it the little guy succeeding? It's the thrill of victory, right? It's like the worst thing you want to see in the Olympics is somebody epically fail. And I think that's
it's a complete opposite of NASCAR.
Well, I think it's the truth with all sports, right? You don't want to see somebody epically fail. You want to see somebody just play the best they've ever played or something, right?
Right.
Even a team you hate, you might say, oh, I hope they suck tonight, but you really want your team to just outplay them, right? So I feel why do we not feel that way about pool?
Right.
Why are we, oh well, hey, 4 1/4-inch pockets are just way too big. Let's go to 4-inch pockets. I love the Mosconi Cup and I love what Matchroom's doing for pool, but I hate watching the players play like crap in the Mosconi Cup and miss shots that are just wow, right? So I don't like the 4-inch pockets. So why do we keep messing?
I don't either. I don't understand. I don't even understand what the point is. Who watching the match can tell that they're 4 inches versus 4 1/4? For God's sakes. But you as the spectator,
the tighter you go, right? The tighter you go. This is going to sound really crazy, but hear me out. The tighter the pocket goes, the more skill you take away from the game. Now, I know everybody's going to go, oh, no, you got to shoot a ball. It's a tighter pocket. But let's not bullshit each other. What you're doing is you're taking away maneuvering from bad positions or trouble that would take a touch shot or a spin shot that they don't. You can't even do that when the pocket's that tight, right?
Right.
It's like
right.
if your ball's hooked a little bit, you can't do anything tricky to make that ball, right? Because the pocket's so tight, there's no trickery or wizardry to do with your spin or your, because the pocket's just too damn tight.
You know,
so
one of the shots that
one
of the shots I think of that you're talking about is object ball on the rail, cue ball down table, and you got to put a bunch of bottom right on it to put it in and then spin the cue ball back. Well, the pockets can get so tight, that's not really a possible shot.
Right.
And yet when you play 9-ball, you have to be able to shoot that. I also think you don't get very far into pool instruction before your instructor is going to start telling you, hey, aim to the left side of the pocket on this one. Hey, aim to the right side of the pocket on this. You're taking that away.
Right.
That is a part of the game.
You're taking a whole skill away. You know, I mean, I'll bet you this year at the Moscone Cup, there were 10 to 12 shots that they didn't even try.
Oh my God.
Because of the pockets.
Yes.
So now you've changed the game again completely.
Right. Yep. Meanwhile,
I like to see safety battles, but boy, oh boy, do those safeties get a lot easier if the pockets are so tough too, right?
Right. Wasn't it last year that Billy Thorpe slammed a bank shot in during the Moscone? They weren't sure what to do, and Billy and Sky were playing partners with each other. And, you know, they're from bank pool country, and Billy says something out there, I just banked this sucker in, and Sky says, go for it. And, you know, I'm not saying you want buckets when that comes up, but that's exciting to see him make that. I mean, if the pockets are the same size they are at my house and at the bar, we're good. You know, I just don't want to see sloppy pockets.
Well, not only that,
as long as they're legit, we're good. I don't need them to be extra tight.
But by changing the rules like that, you're also separating the pros more and more from the amateur.
Yep.
And I think it's part of, you know, my baseball background of, you know, little league is basically big league, right? I mean, they just scale it down for the body size, which is pool goes from a 9 foot to a 7 foot. Okay, we could live with that, right? We're okay with that. But then why make some crazy rules over here that just, it's crazy? And then go to 4-inch pockets. Well, amateurs, you're going to lose everybody. If you make the pockets 4 inches, they're all going to quit playing. Because now you're forcing such a precision that, you know.
Yeah. Well, you need a level of success to enjoy something. My God, I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it takes away the ability to gauge yourself to that scene. So if I know I'm playing on the same table, the same everything as the pros are doing, I can gauge my abilities to the pros' abilities. Where now they're playing on some complete gimmick table. Now, it's not a straight.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as you force it to a 4-inch pocket, they won't even try those tables.
Right.
Because it's so much of a level of I think it's a huge mistake. And again, my biggest issue is why.
Right.
Why did you make that move? Like I said, I'm not seeing evidence of people just running rack after rack. So you didn't tighten the pocket because of that, right?
Right.
Then why? Show me the evidence.
You know, I want to see for people out there watching this too. What's the guy with perfect tattooed on his neck? Elke?
Kachi? Ackland Kachi?
Yeah, yes. I believe in an Efren Reyes 8-ball tournament on 7 foots, he ran a bunch. But, you know, what we're saying is when that does happen, like with Earl, it's remembered for years and years and years. So if anybody's out there watching this thinking, well, what about the one time? Yeah, the one time you remember because it was one other time. That's what we're saying is It's few and far between. And isn't that awesome? Isn't it awesome that Earl ran that? Why would we ever make rules that made that more what's virtually impossible already? Why would we make it more impossible?
Yeah,
it's silly.
I mean, there's 23 perfect games in baseball. We didn't change all the rules. There's 318 no hitters. We didn't change all the rules.
Right. No, I agree completely.
I mean, they changed one rule in 200 years but it's just
right.
And pool, 9-ball's 100 years old, and we're changing the rule weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in baseball, they don't practice with the smaller strike zone either.
Yeah. Hey, hold on. Wait. And that's why it's not in the Olympics, folks. Because somebody's going to ask. Well, we keep changing the rules. We can't even settle on a set of rules worldwide.
Right. Sure. Right. Hey, I got a test question for you. I'm working on questions for Derby. I got a test question for you, Ric Jones.
All right.
Why is English 8-ball, black ball not more popular?
Dude, I love watching that.
That's a great game.
It's 6 foot, 3 foot by 6 foot table, right?
Yeah.
Even more accessible to people's homes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a snooker pockets kind of.
Yeah.
Yes, and tight and smaller balls.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you feel like that should be a game that every once in a while you see in a bar in America or someplace other than England?
Oh, it would be great. I don't think it took off
man.
because everybody bought bar boxes and well, Americans especially, but humans in general don't like
3 foot by 6 foot. A 3 foot by 6 foot table, that's a dining room table, man. That could be in your dining room as a pool table. You know, I mean, that's a really accessible way that people could play pool. I'm going to ask everybody of English origin at Derby, what's going on with that, man? Why has that not gotten outside of England or you know,
people hate change.
I guess their formats are really interesting to watch too. If you, I don't know how much of it you watch, but
I watch a lot, dude. Not some great.
I almost enjoy watching it as much as I do American pool.
Yeah, English 8-ball super interesting. No, it's really cool, man, and it looks hard. But a lot of the same similar strategies, obviously.
But I think that's the problem, right? I think in America, when pool started taking off, most of the time the tables were either in pool halls or bars, right? Yeah. So the ones that went in bars, they don't want those tables.
Right.
Because they're getting a quarter a game or a dime a game or whatever, right? They don't want it to take a while. They want you playing 9-ball.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No, you're right. Instead of snooker pockets is what you're saying. Yeah.
So I think that's part of the problem. And then, you know, why is our football different than their football, right? I mean, it's
right.
I think US is always, well, we don't want to be them.
Yeah,
right.
I
the
think
dollar.
We do the whole
most dollars.
We don't want to be them, and I think we've taken it to a level of absurdity.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know, imagine how much better place this whole place could be if it wasn't for that.
Yep, I agree. Well, I'm ready to start shipping English 8-balls to America, and I'm going to become a dealer. That's my master plan.
Yeah. I want to set.
All right.
I think Pat Fleming has a set that he does.
My phone's dying. My phone's dying, you guys. My phone's dying.
CPR. Plug it in.
Is I don't know. It has a charger?
For the record, he was at 28% when he started installing the app. So I'm really surprised he made it this far.
Yeah, I'm curious. You know, if somebody can jump in there and tell us why they're changing stuff and make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So like, you know, the 9 in the back too, I never thought of it the way that you're saying. You know, I know my thought process was they did that because that was the most commonly, you know, if you gap the rack, that's where the 9 was the most common 2 pockets it was gonna go.
Yeah, no, it's just so when you rack 9-ball, if you give one side behind the one of the balls right behind the 9,
Yeah.
just a tiny little gap.
Yeah. And break from the other side.
Yeah. It's gonna go straight towards that corner.
Yep.
You hit it good. It'll go right towards that corner. Right. So then everybody goes, well, not in the bottom corners.
Right.
Okay, but if I rack tight and it gets kicked in, why do I not get to win? But the other guy gets kicked into the side pocket, he gets to win.
Right.
And what if he racked him? I mean, it just, to me, either it counts or it don't count. Trying to decide which pockets count is kind of dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, whatever. Yeah, and then with the putting the 2 in the back, 1 up front and the 2 in the back, people are just trying to make the game a little tougher. Their thought is one will go to one end of the table and the other will go to the other end of the table. Right?
Yeah.
But
which sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't.
And then the whole pattern rack thing. Well, if you figure out the pattern, it's okay. Well, I just outsmarted you and I learned the game even more. But okay, let's go random rack now.
Right.
Really, with the better players, they'll figure it out. But they'll figure out the first ball and the second ball. They'll know where they're going, no matter what. They'll look at the rack and they'll go, all right, I can make the 1 on the side, and if it goes, the 2 will be at this end of the table or on this spot of the table. So I got to get the cue ball that direction.
Yeah.
It's a skill. But nobody's dominating pool because they've learned that skill. Sometimes you get hooked, but again, I'll go back to it. I don't see people running racks like everybody, like all the rule changes suggest.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say about the 9-ball. I mean, I thought it was very interesting that, I mean, I don't see any evidence of Corey Deuel dominating, because I remember everybody freaking out about his soft break.
Yeah, so I was looking at on his wiki page, 2001, he's only got 8 titles. It's a 7 or 8.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's back before all the
7 titles. And then 2002, there's only 2. Only 1 in 2003, a couple in 2004. 1 in 2005, and then 2007 again he's got 5 titles on here. So it was either 2001 or 2007 when they started changing this shit. But
he's still only got 5 titles.
Yeah. I mean, but it wasn't like
cool, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely not.
I'm not seeing evidence of anybody dominating on either end of any of that.
Right.
Everybody, Shane's got the best break. Okay. But he worked really hard on learning how to break and where the balls would go. And hitting it that consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, dude, Shane's not blasting the holy crap out of that rack. It's controlled. It's a controlled power break, right?
I think you lose control. You lose a little bit of control when you try to hit as hard as you possibly can. So I think the best breaks are like 80%, 70 to 80%.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably 75%.
Yeah. And I think mine's probably
power
70, 75. Mine is down just a long, hard shot. I don't shoot it any different than any other shot.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that probably gonna shock a lot of people because, I'm not a fan of 9-ball, but I get why 9-ball is what it is.
Right.
And I think the rules should be left alone.
Yeah.
I don't think the game is conquered yet. Now, a lot of people go, well, the pros broke it. I think if it's broken at all, it's the fact that enough pros have complained or something that they keep changing the damn rules.
Yeah.
If it's broken, that's what's broken, my opinion.
Yep. I agree.
So let's hear yours. Everybody.
Yeah.
Feel
In
free
the
to send us a
comments.
message. Watch and make a comment.
Yep. Or there's a question comments page on our website.
Yeah.
You can go fill that out.
Tell your friends. Get us more Patreon members. We'll bring in some pros and ask them all these questions, which we're going to do a lot of that at Derby this year and every year. So, but yeah, that's something we should ask Mike D to ask when he's interviewing. Ask the pros a couple of those rules. Why should the 9 be on the spot when you rack? Why break from the box? Let's see what the players say.
There was a question. Somebody put, one of the Patreons, when we put in there looking for questions for Derby, they want to know what kind of off-table training routine, if any, that they follow.
Yeah, I think most, and we'll ask, definitely.
I'm guessing that's like not pool, but
I think a lot of them are doing cardio.
The gym,
yeah, and doing some. You got to be in shape.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to be a professional pool player, you got to be in shape. Early hours of tournaments. Some of these tournaments they got to play 6 hours.
Shit.
I'm teasing. No, for example, like Derby City, right? If you want to be good at Derby, man, if you're in the go deep in the banks and then the one pocket starts and you're playing one pocket and banks.
The secret of Derby is you need to be able to wake up and immediately start playing.
Yep.
And then be able to live on an hour or so of sleep at a time. So you play your match, you go back to your room, go to sleep, and then you wake up and come back and play your next match. Then you go back to your room, go to sleep.
Especially if you're deep in the tournament, it gets pretty wild.
Yep.
I feel for the guys that are in the top 10 of each event.
Yeah.
Because they're playing a lot.
And then there's the ones that they're, late night rounds and they come to the tournament desk complaining about, oh man, I'm so freaking tired. Please tell me I don't play again till in the morning. And you make their day. Now you don't play till 9 a.m. Sweet, man. Y'all are awesome. And then you walk upstairs and they're in the action room. Like, oh, you guys are killing me.
The ones that kill me, dude, is like, oh, can you bump my match to 9 a.m.? And it's like, no, dude, you got a 10 o'clock match.
Yeah.
Well, bump it to 9. Like, okay, you do realize it's the same amount of sleep either way.
Yeah.
Either you play tonight, right? Problem is you're going to play more rounds tomorrow either way. But yeah, it's crazy. Either you play now and then you don't have to play again until 11, or we bump it now and you got to be here at 9 a.m. Just it's the same amount of sleep, dude. Same amount of hours between now and then and after the match and the next match. But
yep.
I would say that's lack of mental strength, physical strength. You're getting a little dumb. Your blood's not flowing through the body like it should.
Guilty.
Yeah, no, we've all done.
That's the problem. Oh man.
Oh, son of a bitch.
They should teach us in school.
Well, that's all I got on Nineball.
Yeah. It doesn't look like Mike D's coming back, so I guess
we won't tell them that we talked for an hour and then went, oh shit, we forgot to sign off.
Oh yeah.
Put that on.
Yeah, be sure to follow us on Facebook. We'll have a link in the description. Go to our website, badboysbp.com. Check us out on Patreon. And that link will be in the description too. And thanks to our sponsors, Littman Lights, OBQs, Diamond Tables, Diamond Billiard Products, Aramith, Simonis, JB Cases.
Yep.
I guess that's a wrap.
Great company. It's the red button, baby.
The red button.
The red.